Anambra State Government repeats call on communities to promote peaceful coexistence. Anambra State Government to engage contractors in waste management. Federal Government focuses on acquisition of technology for vaccine production. Sri Lanka Cabinet approves constitutional reforms to limit powers of President. Before the news in detail, here's a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Chidimma Oranwa. Anambra State Government directs Igwe Humphrey Ejesieme of Umuona to reconcile all interest groups and put to an end crisis rocking his community. The Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Mr. Collins Nwabunwanne, gave the directive during a reconciliatory meeting with the traditional ruler of Umuona, Igwe Humphrey Ejesieme, the President General of the town, Honorable Chief Kenneth Okoli, and other executive members of the town union at the Government House, Oka. Correspondent Neka Anolefo filed on this report, taken from her.
Commissioner Nwabunwanne, who harped on the need for the traditional ruler and President General to initiate another peace move, reminded the parties present that Governor Chukwuma Soludo is totally committed to achieving lasting peace, promote and protect human rights in communities in the state. He appealed to them to jointly build a community with brighter future for the people, as war or conflict does no one any good. Commissioner Nwabunwanne also urged the President General to always work with the traditional ruler for peace and progress of Umuona community. He appealed to the traditional ruler to lift the sanctions as well as a huge fines leveled against some sons and daughters of the town and reabsorb them back into the kingdom, while he promised to study the constitutions of the town carefully for interest of peace. The President General of Umuona town, Honorable Chief Kenneth Okoli, who recounted how the conflict started in Umuona, agreed also that the peace will reign and commended Commissioner Nwabunwanne for insisting that no one has right to remove any elected President General from office under his watch. Responding, the former chairman, Agwata Council Area, Chief Anthony Okoli, Mr. Samuel Okolo Mike, Reverend Professor James Noroga, Nze Fabian Ezofo, and Chief Emeka Adilieje, among others, appreciated the efforts of Governor Chukwuma Soludo and Commissioner Nwabunwanne for championing the cause of peace in Umuona community, while praying God to bless and reward them abundantly. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Barrister Pauline Nwando, and the ASATU President, Barrister Titus Abudo, were among dignitaries that attended the meeting.
Anambra State Government has revealed its plan of engaging contractors in waste management, and the state is aware of actualizing its vision of house-to-house collection and evacuation of waste in order to enthrone a clean, livable and healthy Anambra. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Anambra State Waste Management Agency, ASWAMA, Mr. Mike Ozemena, revealed this while speaking to the ABS in his office in Oka. Correspondent Emmanuel Okonkwo reports.
The ASWAMA MD, Mr. Ozemena, who explained that the employment of waste management contractors is geared towards the realization of the Professor Chukwuma Soludo's vision of achieving a total waste-free state, said that the contractors will soon commence work across communities in the state. He called on the state residents to quit indiscriminate dumping of refuse and assist the state government in the fight against unhealthy environment by heeding to instructions and laws on proper waste disposal.
We must synergize with the whole populace because if there's an epidemic, it's not about the government, it's about everybody. And so for us, we are saying to people, learn how to dispose. It's going to be public enlightenment, but the next phase, which people will help us. We are writing this morning to churches and schools to tell them, look, it shouldn't be business as usual. Properly keep your garbage and then wait, because we are going to the point of taking your waste, the waste from the point of, from their homes. We are going to gradually phase out communal dumping. So that the contractors, one of the mandates is that they will be going to house, to the street, to pick the garbage and not dump it on the street anymore.
Mr. Zemena asked market, school, and church leaders to join the government in sensitizing their subjects on the need for a clean and healthy environment, as according to him, the government alone cannot achieve the proposed smart and livable state. Regretting the dirty and unhealthy status of the state, the Aswama boss made it clear that the mandatory monthly sanitation exercise in the state is no longer business as usual, stressing that the agency is out and already prepared to enforce total compliance by every home and business premises in the exercise across the state.
We must let our people know that there is nothing else but we must have a clean, very clean environment. And it starts with you. It starts with us. It starts with our families. You have to first of all, if you have a shop, and then your shop, in front of your shop, the drainage in front of your shop must be desilted by you. Then we will now bring trucks to evacuate it. That will be our job. But everybody must be involved.
In Oka, I am Emmanuel Okonkwo reporting for ABS News.
The Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chumaude, has commended the outcome of the second lap of the Teachers Recruitment CBT examination conducted in 4 centers on Saturday. Correspondent Theophilos Okoha reports.
Commissioner Chumaude, while speaking to ABS, said majority of the candidates obeyed standing rules of being on the line for accreditation and obeying other basic instructions, but however frowned at unruly behavior of some individuals who wanted to disrupt the process, especially at Newi Center. She expressed displeasure over various impersonators who were apprehended at Unizik Center by the security operatives. The commissioner, however, announced that the next leg will be oral interview for those who met the cutoff mark.
At Newi, the candidates were unruly, uncouth and uncultured. They refused to obey orders and they refused to be screened. They refused to be screened. They didn't want to bring the ID cards and they wanted to cause that uproar. So maybe so as to cheat or impersonate, but the examiners did not allow. So towards the end of the exercise, around 6 o'clock, they decided to align, and they are still taking the exams. They said there are about a handful of candidates remaining at Newi. So far so good. I think we have 100% success. Next will be the answer to set up the cutoff mark and then invite for interview, for oral interview. At the oral interview too, we may decide to ask them to write 1 or 2 things. Because this is CBT, we've not seen them write. So we may give them maybe 1 or 2 questions to write. Very simple questions that at least we can use to judge whether they have handwriting, because you have to be a holistic teacher.
In their separate reactions, some of the examiners, including Dr. Chinwu Kumba, Mr. Kenechukwu Anebogo, and Dr. Anthony Ndubisi, expressed confidence that quality teachers will surely emerge from the recruitment examination exercise.
I believe strongly that out of all the people that came here today, we can get intelligent people that will take the position that we're looking for, that the Anambra State government is looking for in the teaching profession.
The students comported themselves, so they were queued outside and they were coming in according to the number, according to they should. Their result was displayed for them. Each of them saw their result before going home. So at about 7:05, we ended the exam at Unizik. The few challenges we had were students that were not that are not computer literate. That was one of the few challenges that we have. But you know that it's a CBT exam, so eventually it affects their score because some of them couldn't use the system.
I was the chief examiner for Sube Center. Everything was smooth, but not without hinges anyway. We counted series of exam impersonators, but in the end, the exam was a huge success.
Theophilos Okoha reporting for ABS News.
The Rector of Federal Polytechnic, Oko, Dr. Francisca Nwafulugo, has charged students of the institution to be worthy in character and learning so as to uphold the values of the school. Dr. Nwafulugo stated this at the 38th matriculation ceremony of the institution held at the school's permanent site. Correspondent Ngozi Obileri reports.
In an address, Dr. Nwafulugo expressed delight that the new students made the school their choice, assuring them that administration never compromises on excellence and quality. Dr. Nwafulugo, who said that the institution is a citadel of academic excellence and has weathered the storm through creativity and innovation, noted that the institution's dexterity in the art of reinvention and retooling has engendered a revolutionary and transformational education system which has made the school a competitive institution of learning. She reminded the students that the school has zero tolerance for cultism, examination malpractice, prostitution, and other social vices that can mar their future, urging them to study hard in order to transform their lives, that of their families, and the society at large.
You need to understand that your admission here is not only aimed at equipping you intellectually, but also to develop you in character and morals. You must therefore shun oligarchy, misconduct, and all forms of vices, and imbibe good manners.
The acting registrar of the institution, Mrs. Ifome Ezokoli, administered oath of loyalty to the matriculants. The matriculants were introduced by the deans of various schools respectively, after which they were admitted officially by the rector, Dr. Nwafulugo, having been presented by the deputy rector academic, Mr. Uche Onyebu. Some of the matriculants, including Ms. Dorothy Oje and Chimdalu Okoye, said they were happy to be given opportunity to study in the institution and promised to abide by the rules and regulations of the school.
Surprised when I was granted admission to study mass communication. And mass communication has been something I've always wanted to study. But very delighted, very happy.
I don't have much to say, Sha, but I believe in myself. I know I will make it, and I'm going to make it. I'm very, very happy, absolutely.
The virtual ceremony recorded observance of COVID-19 protocols. From Oko in Orumba Council area, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
In a similar development, Tansian University Umunya has formally admitted 668 students into Umunya and Oba campuses. The formal admission took place during the 15th matriculation ceremony held at Tansian University Convocation Arena last Friday. Correspondent Theophilus Okoha reports.
Never belong to any secret court.
Tansian University, a faith-based university founded by late Reverend Monsignor Professor John Bosco Akam, commenced the ceremony with a special ceremonial interdenominational service presided over by Reverend Father Richard Ekebu and Reverend Father James Noroga. Addressing the matriculants, the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Eugene Wadialo, urged them to enjoy freedom of worship despite being a faith-based university, but however said the school management insists that leaders of all the religious groups in both campuses of Umunya and Oba should always remember that where their freedom ends is where those of others begin. The Vice-Chancellor, who reminded the matriculants what they were told during the orientation program, assured them of their safety, good recreational and sporting activities, and regular lectures as scheduled.
My dear students and according children, congratulations. Thank you for choosing Tansian University. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the Chancellor, the Senate, management, staff and students of the great Tansian University, I say welcome to everyone. Tansian University is a faith-based university. God is at the center of what we do at Lansing University.
The University Registrar, Reverend Daniel Iguilo, and Deputy Registrar, Father Justin Ewe, reminded the matriculants that they are in the school to get university education, being their third lap of journey to academic excellence, and should be focused both in learning and character.
We have to say that it's a sign of growth, that the university is growing every day. We believe that Iwena Tansia is still interceding for us. It's with us. This actually is not what we expected this year. We expected more than 1,000, but we thank God. By next year, the number will increase.
Even though it's a private university, but in terms of the financial commitment, it is made in such a way that even the average citizens, unlike we have in other private universities that are exorbitant for people to access, but this one, the school fees and other modalities are put in place so that the average citizen can access Lansing University and as such acquire that basic academic qualification.
The matriculants later took oath of allegiance and declaration of loyalty to the university. Some of the students, including Chiamaka Ndulwe, Siso, Francis, and Somto Ede, on behalf of others, expressed happiness for being admitted and pledged to be diligent and focused. From Umunya, Theophilus Okoha reporting for ABS News.
The Federal Ministry of Health has said that emphasis is now shifting from the urgency for the country to manufacture its own vaccines to having the basic technology to know how to produce vaccines. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sage Hanire, disclosed this in Abuja at the bi-weekly ministerial press briefing on COVID-19 and other infectious diseases in the country. The Minister of Health, Dr. Hanire, said that the 10 billion naira earmarked by the National Assembly for the local production of COVID-19 vaccines was intact while explaining why local manufacturing of the COVID-19 vaccines cannot start in the country at the moment as the world continues to fight vaccines nationalism. The minister said that the Technical Working Group on Local Vaccine Manufacturing will pursue that avenue for research and development. The Association of SND Bonozo in the 19 northern states has endorsed the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, Professor Peter Umadi, and his vice, Comrade Abdullahi Mohammed. The group, in a communique after a meeting in Abuja, read by Igwe Ochendo, assured ABGA of their maximum support and votes in the 2023 general elections. We have detail from our studio.
They said they found Professor Umadi to be the most eligible, credible and acceptable of all potential presidential candidates of Igbo extraction, as according to them, he possesses all the requisite credentials, antecedents and character befitting a president of Nigeria. According to the group, Professor Umadi's antecedents portray a detribalized Nigerian with high level of acceptability from all parts of the country, and who will be able to secure votes from every part of the country. Other speakers, including Barrister Mrs. Ifeinwa Obegolu, the President General of Igbo Community Assembly Youth Forum, Austin Udoba, among others, said there is a dire need for separation of powers so that the National Assembly can do its work without interference from any other arm of government. In his response to the gesture, the ABGA presidential candidate, Professor Peter Umadi, expressed delight that the traditional leaders in 19 northern states saw him fit to manage the affairs of the country as a president. He urged them to work for ABGA before, during and after the election, promising that he will not relent in pursuing the dream of delivering the party in the election, especially as ABGA has achieved a national outlook and assured that they will work hard to ensure victory. Professor Umadi urged Ndebo to ensure peaceful coexistence with their host communities, as that is the only way to attract their support during the election.
Ndebo Nonuzuje have come together in Abuja and invited me to say that they are supporting ABGA as a political party and they are supporting the candidature of Umadi and Mohammed in the 2023 general elections. In a party, if there are many aspirants and INEC publishes its list by its own criteria, and then I will expect everybody else in their parties to fall behind the candidates and work together to get the desired results.
The vice presidential candidate, Comrade Abdullahi Mohammed, on his part, urged the citizenry to adopt ABGA, as it is the only party with the wand to change the narrative in Nigeria.
And all the political parties we have, if you go around inside, we want to check the degree of each and every one of them. Maybe one thing must be missing somewhere, somehow. So I think it's a great pleasure to meet an elderly person like him, and a professor, a civil servant, a technocrat, now a politician. I think he'll be able to deliver the message.
The Sri Lankan cabinet has approved constitutional reforms that will limit the powers of the president in a move aimed at appeasing the protesters calling for President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to quit over the country's worst economic crisis in decades. The decision to amend the constitution to clip the president's wide-ranging powers was taken in a cabinet meeting. Dina Kollenberg, media advisor for Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, told journalists. In October 2020, less than a year after becoming the president, Gotabaya, with the help of his elder brother, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, had moved the 20th Amendment in Parliament, which gave the presidency sweeping powers. The changes then allowed the president to hold ministers as well as appoint and fire ministers. It also made the president the appointing authority of the elections, public service, police, human rights and bribery and corruption investigation commissions. As the country rolled under its worst ever economic crisis, largely blamed on the powerful Rajapaksa's President Gotabaya, and had hinted at giving in to the demands of reducing his powers to assuage the protesters. This year's edition of the prestigious award ceremony for African football, the CAF Awards 2022, will hold on July 21, 2022 in Morocco. This year's award will be held ahead of the final of Africa's flagship women's competition, Women's African Cup of Nations Morocco 2023, scheduled to take place from July 2 to July 23. The event will also coincide with the 2-year anniversary of the launch of the CAF Women's Football Strategy. In line with that, a new category, Interclubs Women Player of the Year, has been introduced following the successful rollout of the Total Energies CAF Women's Champions League in November 2021. Other categories include Interclub Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, National Team of the Year, Coach of the Year, Club of the Year and Goal of the Year. The winners will be decided by vote from captains and coaches of the member associations, selected journalists, CAF Technical Study Group and CAF Legends. Remember that you can follow news and program on ABS from many parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points again. Anambra State government has repeated call on communities to promote peaceful coexistence. Anambra State government is to engage contractors in waste management. Federal government is focusing on acquisition of technology for vaccine production. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Sri Lanka cabinet has approved the constitutional reforms to limit powers of president. Here's a special message again. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a turning around the maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's it on the news this morning. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chidima Oranwa. Good morning.